it's rare, or hardly ever, I think, do you see a 27-year-old position coach in the NFL, let alone a running backs coach. What was your reaction when Coach Brown called you and offered you this job?
I was excited. I was in a little disbelief. I had been talking to him, and we went through a whole kind of interview process, and he vetted me beforehand. And so, kind of going through the process, I didn't think much of it, to be honest, as he was talking to me and kind of calling me and kind of asking me questions, getting to know me, and as I was getting to know him. And like I said, just going back and forth. As the process continued, like I said, I was really shocked when they called and offered the job. It was a decent surprise.
And was that surprise from just thinking you would be spending maybe more time at the college level before you get an opportunity like this, or for another reason? But I guess what was kind of behind that, the emotion of that?
A lot going on at once. Sorry to cut you off. I think that was just going on at once. I just moved from SMU, so I was just transitioning to TCU. Just got settled there, just got a place there. We had just finished our recruiting calendar. I just signed my contract, and so there had been so much going on. I actually I don't know who I was with. I was talking to my landlord, and when I rented my place in Fort Worth, and I was just telling him, man, I was like, listen, there is a 1% chance that I'll leave TCU, because he was kind of asking me, how sure am I that I'm gonna be here? The coaching changes and how things work, and I was like, there's a 1% chance I leave, and sure enough. 1%.
Thank you.
Great.
Hey, Rashad, Greg Beecham with the AP. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
Tell us your background in coaching. We know you were a receiver at Oklahoma State, went to Cougars, and then Coach Herman, I guess, was your first, entry into coaching. Did you want to be a coach when you were growing up? And how have you adjusted to that lifestyle going from being a high-level player?
I didn't want to be a coach when I grew up. My major in college was accounting, so I was trying to figure out, to be completely honest, I was trying to figure out, since I'm getting my school paid for, how can I get out of here and make some money immediately and do something, that didn't take a lot of energy, that I could be at home, that I could travel. That's kind of my thought process and my background. My sisters, I have 3 older sisters, and they had majored in accounting and business. So that's kind of was my outlook going into college. And after I got hurt, I kind of changed my perspective on my impact and what I wanted to do. I was in the locker room, and Coach Herman was the coach at the time, and he just challenged me, because I was a team captain that year before I got DQ with concussions. He challenged me to stick around and kind of be a voice for the young guys, and kind of be a mentor off the field that wasn't a coach that I was amongst them, a mentor amongst my peers, to just lead them in the right direction and kind of help them carry on when times get tough, and talk to them about the game and talk to them about how to live their life off the field. And I knew as I continued on that was my purpose, So the more I did that, the more I was kind of sure of it, because I wasn't sure kind of getting into it. But the more I coached, the more I got around the guys, the more I got in the office, I knew that that's what God had planned for me. My purpose was to kind of just be a servant amongst people.
You're an accounting major. You got an analytical mind, obviously. There's not a ton of those in football overall, but in terms of guys who could handle an accounting major and that kind of thing, what does your mentality, your ability to handle that kind of thing academically bring to you as a coach?
I think it brings mental capacity, and that's what I told Sean on my interview. I think my ability to learn combined with my work ethic is really my gift. I'm always the first to tell people I don't have any super special talents, but my work ethic and my ability to learn is the ceiling is through the roof for that. And I think, if with the right resources and having the right people around, which I do, which made this opportunity so appealing to me, because like I said, I had a very good opportunity at TCU. I was assistant head coach. My track was in the right direction. I was involved in a lot of things at TCU. So just this opportunity, being around Sean, being around Thomas, being around familiar faces with a great program on the right track was so important to me, because I knew I had the capacity to learn and grow, and all I needed was the resources around me.
Thank you, Rashad.
Jordan.
Hey, Rashad, Jordan Rodriguez with The Athletic. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hey, Jordan.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So if my math is correct, and you definitely will be able to correct me on this, you were a college athlete when sort of the Shanahan McVay system, particularly the run design and that outside zone, started permeating through the league and really kind of becoming in vogue. So I guess I'm wondering, like, as you take this job and you get immersed in the playbook and you get to know not just the things you guys are doing now, but also sort of the philosophy behind it. What attracts you to that? And what sort of, how have you sort of seen this sort of philosophy grow, first from your unique perspective as someone who's running a lot of different collegiate concepts, actually running these concepts, but then also as you come in the building and are now going to be executing them?
Oh, that's a good question. First of all, fun fact. So you talk about the McVay, host Shanahan, the system. My brother-in-law is Alger Robinson. So he played for the Redskins. He was with Sean in Washington and with those guys. So I'm very familiar with the system. Actually, I remember him kind of getting into the system. And just to answer your question, what we majored in college and at TCU and SMU was a lot of inside zone concepts, a lot of inside run concepts, a lot of gap scheme concepts. So it allowed me just learning what Sean did in the Y zone scheme and kind of how he married the pass with the Y zone and motions and splits and all these different kind of things with his Y zone scheme concept. It allows me to grow, like I said, grow as a coach. And that was my whole deal coming here, was to expand my mind and open up my mind when it comes to offensive schematics and conceptualism. So I think that opportunity to learn this system, which is a lot different from, like you said, a lot different from the systems we run. I come from an air raid background and then a 3-level pass concept background with Tom Herman and the whole Urban Meyer system, who majored in 3-level pass game and kind of read zone and power read and some of that stuff. And then I transitioned to some air raid concepts when I worked with Brian Johnson, who's now with the Eagles, and then Sonny Dykes, who kind of one of the founding fathers of the air raid. And so it was good to me. It was a good opportunity for me to learn the run game and come into this system and learn a lot of things that I wasn't necessarily learning where I was at.
And this group of coaches, and especially after bringing in Matthew Stafford last year, trying to move that offense forward a little bit, spreading it out a little bit, doing more of the drop back stuff. That does, I think, marry well to your experience, specifically in those passing philosophies that you were in. Thomas Brown mentioned that it was really important for him to make sure that you're getting in those rooms and lending your voice and your experience to those rooms, and also learning. I know that's a lot to put on your plate because you're also, in this job for the first time as well. But what can you sort of contribute, and not just as a coach, but as a learner, as someone who has studied all of those things in the past?
I just think a different perspective, and obviously, the college game is a little bit different when in terms of NFL games. When we talk about hashes, when we talk about the variation of blitzes and coverages you're going to get just because of the strength of the hashes and how how short the field can be at times and how wide the field can be at times. But just like I said, a different perspective of how we do things, and the air raid was kind of the founding father of this pass game and the conceptualisms of it. So just learning that, getting a degree, getting a major in that with Sonny, I think I can shed some light in some of those pass game concepts, and just how we married them with our run, and how we did different things, and how we attacked different zones and coverages, and just how we use things to our advantage conceptually.
Thank you so much for the insight.
Maria?
Hey, Rashad, Maria Sorrell with RPV TV. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Hey, Maria.
Thomas Brown shared a little bit about your interview process. What was it like for you, and what were your impressions of the Rams coming into the room?
I've always been a big fan of how the Rams did things, how they ran their organization. Obviously, it's a young staff, so I've been a big fan of Sean, me being a young coach and me kind of always being the young guy in the room, but having to kind of take charge. I looked up to Sean and kind of watched Sean from a distance. I've always kept up with Thomas. Sean came and spoke to us when I was at Texas, so did Thomas. And then I had some familiarity with Eric Henney, so I knew they had some really good guys on staff. And then my interview process, I was a little nervous for that. You get on the Zoom with some of the most brilliant minds in the NFL, and you know, they're asking you these questions, but as time goes by, it's all football, you know, and you learn that nobody knows everything and that everybody's learning. And so that was kind of my process, and I enjoyed it.
What's it been like coming into the building?
Oh, it's been great. It's been really great. It's a lot of good people here, and there's a lot of familiar faces. There's a lot of connections I didn't even know I had, of people that, you know, we might have crossed paths or worked in college football or recruited against each other when they were coaching college football. It's been great, just meeting everybody and hearing everybody's story.
Thank you.
Kalen.
Hey, what's good, Rashad? My name's Kalen Jones. I'm with The Ringer. How you doing?
How you doing? What's up?
Good, man. Can't complain. Congrats to you. Real quick, you mentioned that you said you did not plan on coaching. I know your dad is like a legendary coach out in Duncanville, though. So you never considered you be, you know, coaching until, you know, you felt it for real.
Nah, yeah. So like, you know, the whole coaching sons thing is real. So I kind of resented my dad and resented coaching for a long time. Just like, I really was in a dark place with coaches. So, you know, he coached me my whole life. You know, he was coach first. A lot of the whole coaching deal is, you know, you want to be dad first and coach second. That's not real. Dad was coach first and dad second. So he spent a lot of time coaching me in the house, probably when I didn't want to be coached, and at all times. And so once I got to college, once I got done playing football, I actually was umpiring baseball games and trying all kind of different hobbies, but I was doing whatever I could to stay away from coaching, and which is why Coach Herman, my relationship with Tom Herman is so important to me, because not a lot of people know this. He drugged me out on the football field. Now, he called me, he hunted me down, and I would come and I would skip practice and try to avoid. I mean, I did everything I could to avoid coaching, and you know, when God has a purpose for you, you got no way of avoiding it. And that's how it happened for me. He dragged me out there, and as soon as I got out there, I knew it was where I was supposed to be. And even then, I tried to run from it, but I couldn't. So I promise you, I did not. Had no plans of being a coach.
That's wild, because like I missed you by a year. I was like, I covered UT in 2019, so I met Herman. He's a good dude. But your relationship with BC and with Thomas, that's why I was really interested in. Like, how did that come about? How long have y'all been tight? Because I heard about your name long before, you know, you ended up at SMU and TCU.
Yeah, so Thomas came down with Brian McClendon when I was at Texas, and he came and spoke to us. I think he was at South Carolina. I want to say he was at South Carolina.
Thanks. So.
And so he came down and spoke with us, and BC and Thomas had a relationship when he came down. And so he introduced us. I sat with him. We watched film together, and just had a long-standing relationship with him since then. I just check in. He'd check in on me, shoot me congratulations text. It's crazy because we were just talking about the minority coaches coming in and having an opportunity. And this time last year, I texted him, was like, hey, you know, when the time comes, when y'all go through OTAs or when y'all are in training camp, you know, I would want to come. I want to be one of the coaches you put on the list, because Brian was there last year, and we was just laughing about it. I was telling him, you know, you can have a coach take my spot.
How wild is it to be 27 and sitting in this position, man?
Wild. No, it's it is. It's, man, I thank God every day. I'm blessed, bro. I'm really blessed, because, you know, it's a lot of coaches that don't get this opportunity, and there's coaches out there who probably know more ball than me, probably more experienced than me, probably more qualified than me, and I have the opportunity to sit in this chair and do this, and it motivates me more than anything, because I know there's some young coaches out there who don't know if this is what they should be doing, or don't know if they're going to ever get a shot, or don't know if, you know, you can be a young coach, or if they need to wait their turn, or, you know, and I just see myself as kind of like the poster child of, you know, if you want something, then you can work for it and you know, gain the knowledge and create relationships, and you can attain it, you know. And so it just motivates me to make sure I do a great job, and I'm always picking Thomas's brain and Sean's brain and finding out what I can do better and how I can be a better coach, and what else I can learn, just because I know that this opportunity is bigger than just me.
Gotcha, man. Appreciate you, and congrats.
Appreciate you.
Kevin.
Hi, Rashad. I'm Kevin Modesti. I cover the Rams for the LA Daily News. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. What's up, Kevin?
Not much. I wondered about your first impressions of the running backs you'll be working with and what you saw of Cam Akers in the games he played at the end of last season.
So I haven't got a chance to the running backs come in next week. I've seen Cam work out around. I've seen Ray. I've obviously have a relationship with Xavier. So I've gotten a chance to talk to those guys. I mean, they all seem like really good guys. I really haven't been around them enough to really just make an impression or have them make an impression on me. But I'm excited about the group. You know, I think it's a lot of potential in the room. I think Cam showed at the end of the year, first of all, him being able to come back from that injury in that amount of time is ridiculous and it's amazing. And so in that time and being able to come back and perform how he performed on top of that, just being mentally strong and just being able to pick up the game so fast and just pick up where he left off. And, you know, he was a little rusty at times, but just what he did was amazing. And obviously Daryl shows a lot of potential. He does a lot of really good things. So I'm really just excited to get my hands on the group and get working.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap up with Dennis, then Gary.
How you doing, Rashad? Dennis Freeman from News for Us Online.
What's up, Dennis?
Hey, what's your definition of leadership, and how would you describe yourself as a leader and as a coach now?
Ooh, that's a good one. My definition of leadership, I just say it would be being a person that people want, that people choose to follow. You know, I think, you know, there's leaders that are appointed, and I think there's natural born leaders. You know, and I think the best leaders are the ones people choose to follow. People will follow no matter what, and I guess that's my definition of leadership. And I think I see me as a leader by someone who just lead by example and lead by actions and just try to be motivational and just try to be present, you know, and be consistent with everything I say. It's one thing to teach and try to lead people, but you have to be consistent on your leading and on your teaching and on the things you're preaching. And a lot of things that I talk about, one of the things I talk about is habitualness all the time, and that's just being able to make good habits and do the same things every single day. Consistency, habitualness, all these things are important. And I think that's what I bring to the table when it comes to leadership. You're gonna get the same thing, the same person out of me every single day.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Gary. You're mute, Gary.
Of course I am. It wouldn't be a press conference without at least one. Hi, Rashad. Gary Klein from the Los Angeles Times. Just wanted to go back. I know you said you're always, you know, the young guy in the room, and I'm just wondering what challenges, if any, will there be, you know, moving up to the NFL, dealing with some still young men but older players, you know, guys that are closer in age to you than even the college guys. What are those challenges, and how do you kind of work through them?
Yeah, I really don't see that as a challenge. You know, I think the man you are, who you are, speaks volumes, no matter how old you are. You know, I think just the character traits and like Dennis talked about, leadership. I mean, it seeps out and people can see it no matter what your age is. So I don't worry about that. When I started coaching college, I was 23 or 24. And so it was about the same age gap as some of the college players to me. And it'd be probably some of the same age gap as me in the NFL. But I don't see that as a challenge. You know, I'm a natural born leader. It's something that's in me. It's my mentality. It's how I carry myself every day. And so, like I said, I don't think that's going to be much of a problem. Being a young guy in the room, it's all about just establishing presence. And that's what I try to do everywhere I go, is just establish my presence and let you know that I'm there. And that's not necessarily a dominant presence, but just letting you know that I'm there in general, whether that be to learn, whether that be to speak, whether that be to teach. I just want to make sure my presence is felt. And I think that's really, really important, being the youngest guy in the room.